use my personal page. You know, we're live on some of your stuff as well right now. But really, for $10, you can support veterans by simply. We're going to share a really cool video here in just a second. But for $10, a $10 donation, I already have the link in the comments. For $10, you can purchase a bale of hay and support veterans. Danny, can you just give us the 30-second rundown of your Equine Valor product? And I want to share this video with everybody.
All right. So Equine Valor project was just kind of something that just kind of came about. I was transitioning from the military. My daughter was volunteering there and doing a little bit of writing. And if anybody that is separated from the military, you know, I was in the Army for 27 years doing all this, crazy stuff and whatnot. And then all of a sudden you lose your identity, you lose your purpose, and you start to struggle, right? So I got medically retired, so that process isn't immediate. And I self-identified pretty quickly. Luckily, stumbled onto this place, taking my daughter there, and it just happened. So this video that we're getting ready to show, once we kind of got started, I was in this mission, whatever. We got this program started. And I know I'm kind of stumbling along, but honestly, this video always kind of gets me choked up. So I'm kind of trying to fight some of that back. But we shot this video with no script, 3 hours. And it's honestly, it became my passion project. At the same time, I got into the mortgage industry. And as I joined USA Mortgage, and my team asked me, like, hey, what do you do or whatever? And I was like, well, I was in the Army for a long time, did a bunch of crazy stuff, but this is my passion project. And this video was shared throughout the company. And in fact, it was just shared the other day again in a link. And USA Mortgage came in 100% to support its growth. And, it's amazing, honestly. They're now a sponsor for the program. So equine therapy is therapeutic. It doesn't necessarily just fix the problem of PTSD. I mean, I'll self-identify. I don't care. Most people don't do it, but this video knocked down my barrier of saying, you know what, I don't care. I will just put my guts out there and say it, because here's the thing. If I can say, yeah, I have problems, I struggle, it helps other people kind of self-identify and realize that there's people out there, there's help to be had, and then we kind of go from there. So please take, this video is 8 minutes long. You're going to see me kind of look away because it messes me up a bit. It's powerful stuff. And then please, in preparation for, we're doing this, it's Memorial Day weekend coming up. And that's the time that we're thankful for and remember those that have and those that we've lost. And so taking this opportunity, because this is why we do this, help support veterans and first responders, down here in the Savannah area, and enjoy the video.
Yeah, and I know a lot of you, it's not as easy right now. Inflation's, everything's so expensive, but every single person who watches this video has $10 to buy a bale of hay. That's it. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for $500. Honestly, if you want to do more, obviously you can, but just Danny wants to feed these horses. And I've been to this horse park and it's amazing. And what they're doing. And this video is amazing as well. So we're going to watch the video. I will put the link up again afterwards. If you're not sure, just message me, message Danny, and he can send you the link as well. But just for $10, guys, buys a bale of hay. So, and it takes care of this awesome place. So enjoy the video.
I love doing therapeutic writing for disabled children, but it became obvious that there was great need for therapeutic writing to serve veterans. But Columbia University picked up on it and did research. So now we have a way to serve the veterans according to the research and the best way possible.
I'm Danny Archer. I just medically retired from the military after over 27 years of service. Had a kind of a crazy career. Saw a lot of combat, got over 5 years of combat time, gazillion rotations. And then ultimately my body just hurt too much. Things started happening in my head, like, started getting a little bit of anxiety, and it was time to be done with it.
Now, Danny was in the industry forever, and so was I. Danny had to do some really unheard of things, and that's where our story first began. It's very hard to relay a military career across to the world, to be honest with you.
After an event that went down with me and Ryan, it was, it was kind of like the capstone of my career, I would say. But I didn't know where he was on his mental space, but I felt like a need to like reach out to him, and I don't know, maybe a week or so before my retirement, someone I reached out to him. And I was super scared that I was gonna, you know, trigger him or something, you know, and probably 30 seconds into the conversation, we had, you know, we had our bromance started. And after that, you know, I told him about this place, and he's like, horses. I grew up on a horse farm. That's, you know, that's all I know. And I'm like, well, you should come out.
So when Danny first came on and said, "Hey man, I got this place, horses, like a ranch," I'm like, "Whoa!" He kind of showed it to me in a way that was like, "Hey, I didn't bring you out here to clean the stall," you know. And that was the first time that I ever taken the time to ever do that with horses, you know, to try to bond, to try to share and grow some things. He'll carry some of your pain for you for a little bit for the day if it's become too rough. Those horses have a way of doing that, and that's a pretty magical thing.
The first time that I noticed the power of the horses, I was feeding them, and I locked eyes with one of the horses, and it was crazy, super powerful. It's like I could feel him looking at my eyes into my soul, could see the things that I've been through, what I kind of need, and it's like he could fix it. Many of my peer group into a war, and you know, 1 to 3 times a year I would go overseas and then come back and try to be normal, you know, much like Ryan, much like any of these other guys that have gone and fought in the darkness all around the world. I talk to them, they hear my story, and they become disarmed, and then we have this like connection, and he goes, wow, like you got help from that. Like, yeah, like I want to do that too, you know, and I'm trying to help be that beacon of like, hey man, there's a support, there's a thing out there that you can go and do, you know, like we're not there now, like, but we're gonna get there. It needs to become the place in the Southeast that guys can come and get self-help, and that's only going to come with like, you know, like funding and like fundraisers and donations and, you know, getting grants from the government or whatever it is. But there's a burden of responsibility to help take care of these guys, you know, like they deserve it. They went and they answered the call over and over and over and over, and they're struggling whether you know it or not. And the most difficult thing that I told Peggy about is like, as I bring these guys out here, most of them aren't going to look like Ryan. Most of them are going to look like me, and they're going to walk around and they're going to joke and seem like, you know, he's a solid dude, like whatever, but you don't know the demons that he's fighting, you know, like, because he's never going to tell you about it. One of my biggest unfit conditions was my PTSD.
There's a thing there, and it fills a gap that, you know, I believe a human speaks a language of horse, and horse speaks a language of human, and they don't speak each other's language, but they understand each other. And I think that there's some real room in there to bond and grow through tragedy.
But the horses is a vehicle for that collaboration of emotion. You know, the horse is not only the thing that is giving it, but it's the draw for all of us to come. And guess what? I don't actually have to talk to you about my emotions. because I'm dealing with the horse over here. But we're here for the same reason. We just don't have to talk about it. That's pretty powerful.
I used to work with a executive director that said, sure, it would be cheaper if we could do this with golf carts, but you can't. It's the horses. It's being out in this beautiful setting. And the horses are big biofeedback machines. They're calm, especially these horses. They're intuitive. I mean, it tickles me so much because Danny is this big, burly veteran, but nothing gives him more pleasure than when his 17-hand dormant white blood gets groomed, relaxes, puts his big head under in the curl of Danny's arm, and literally falls asleep in Danny's arm. It's absolutely wonderful to see the love they have for this horse and how they bond with these horses. And the great thing is, the horse gives all of it back.
Pegasus is going to reinnovate a veterans program through a number of things. Whether you're a veteran with a disability, a physical disability, and you're trying to regrow some of that science on a horse, those are things that Peggy has offered to do for us. As a veteran like myself that isn't necessarily looking to ride in an effort to mobilize more, I just want to be a part of it.
Our goal is to build an immersion program. Research shows that with an immersion program of 6 to 10 days, the veteran has so much more success. If they're active duty and they're in the Army counseling program, 70% more of them will finish that program if they're also riding with horses and doing equine therapy. But we continue to have a lot of fun, not just therapy. We want to kind of shy away from that word. I mean, you can't help but get therapy when you're with our horses. We're just grateful for the community that supports us and the people that are coming in the future to help us build this one-of-a-kind immersion program in Savannah.
Danny, that video is amazing, my man. Absolutely amazing. Well done. And I know it gets you choked up every time. I got goosebumps 2 or 3 different times watching it, and I don't know what to say right now, my man. So
Yeah. So what's interesting, the Equine Valor Project is the veterans program that is in a partnership with the Pegasus Riding Academy. So that little small lady right there, Peggy Noon, she's the lady that runs the program, or she runs the place. We found for fundraising and whatnot that we needed to stand up our own 501c3 so that we could streamline and potentially get grants, government grants for veteran care and whatnot. So that's, if you see the different the different names, that's what that's for. So there's our webpage. I'm sorry, I'm getting blown up by tech support at the same time, but so we have a webpage. It's www.equinevalorproject.com. And then once you go to the donate page, it will actually go into the subcategories and you can find what you would like to do. So my mind, what I'm trying to do to kind of thank Peggy and the Pegasus Riding Academy is to raise a year's worth of hay, money to buy delivered hay for them, and thank you for supporting us as the veterans and first responders. So that's the whole initiative here. It's important. Obviously, we're still kind of like getting going. That's kind of why we're doing this today. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's special, and I think it's just the perfect time to potentially do this again. You know, the burden of feeding horses is it's unlike any other like nonprofit because horses eat twice a day, every day. It's a huge burden and responsibility for what is a place that doesn't generate funds on its own. So my hope and goal is to at least alleviate some of those financial strains for that for the program, and then grow. I mean, you can see what the eventuality is that we'll have so much funding that we can have an immersion program from people from either the local area from out of town can come and stay on the property and essentially live Yellowstone while they're getting their veteran sessions at the same time. So, we're at like step 1.5 of 10. And,
Right.
But that is the goal.
Well, I'm not bragging, but I donated $500. Beer Money Polling Team donated $500 to this. I'm a veteran. Again, when I hang out with Danny, I know what real sacrifice is because I was a reservist. I'm not making fun of reservists, but I was never in the heat of anything. And Danny has told me some stories, and I've been to some stuff and hung out with you guys, and it's amazing. So thank you for the freedoms. Thank you for the freedoms that we have today because of what you've done. And I wish everybody understood that, but I know like the truck and tractor pulling community, real estate agents, they all understand the freedoms that we have, and I'm hoping that everybody can donate. Again, $10 for a bale of hay. That's all that Danny's asking for. And if you want to do more, you can make just a flat donation. But this park is great. He is just getting started. I went out there. I met some of the horses. I walked around with Danny and a few other veterans, and it was awesome. And just for a place for them to go, that's the one thing, Danny, that you've talked to me about with PTSD, just being at the high level of alertness at all times. Like, knowing you're going to get shot at and people want to kill you, and then coming home to just what we think is stressful life. I'm not trying to laugh. That's because I'm nervous right now, and I don't want to say anything stupid because you're my friend. But I just really want people to understand that you have no idea what they're going for. I have no idea what they're going through. But by spending $10 and buying a bale of hay for those horses, for the horse part, for Danny to bring out fellow veterans and to grow this. And there's a lot of great veteran things all over the country, but this one's special to me because Danny's my guy and we work together in the business, in the mortgage business. And I just wanted to share his story. And I know that truck and tractor pulling fans are very, very giving. And I know all of them, I didn't just need them to see this video, kick it around, share it around. And I really think that we'll move some bales of hay. So again, the website right there is Equine, valorproject.com, and it's super easy. That's what it looks like up there on the screen. And then you can choose what you want to do, scroll through it. It's a really nice, really, really nice program. So,
and understand, like, I don't think that the goal is here that horses are going to fix everything. I think the eventuality is that we create this network of collaborative partnerships across the United States of different genre veteran care, so that as a person maybe relocates or whatever, they should be able to plug into a system and see what's available. I mean, eventually here in the local area, I mean, I want to get into the fishing and sea charter stuff, learning how to play an instrument, maybe cooking, woodworking, like offer as many genres of care as possible. And,
yep.
With the power and backing of USA Mortgage, and honestly, Jason, and your huge following as a professional tractor puller with that.
I love you.
But honestly, like seriously, I think there's enough momentum and stuff, especially at times like this, whenever you have to top it. Like if you're not watching Band of Brothers and you don't do it every Memorial Day weekend, like that's a tradition. I have to sit it almost in one sitting if I can. But look, there, in PTSD, look, most people aren't curled up in the corner, like crying. They're never going to tell you that they're struggling. I just, and I'll like I said, that video right there is the first time I've ever actually like talked about it, and I don't talk about it. I just say that there's this place, but the struggles are or it doesn't matter how much or where you're at in life or how much you've endured overseas and different levels. Like, look, it's all perceived stress and how people process it. And a lot of guys, especially enduring a 20-year war, it's a repeat cycle over and over and over and over at such a high pace that many times you were never honestly given an opportunity to even process what you just went through because you were already working another target set. So, that whenever you leave the formation and you leave that, the all that purpose and the people that you're talking to and all those things, that's whenever these things start to seep out. So I will tell all the veterans out there that are potentially watching that are held on for 21 minutes and 34 seconds. This is the time to reach out to the buddy that you haven't talked to for a while. Like, you have a responsibility to that, because that's how we keep the 22 soldiers a day that are committing suicide. Like, that's like, the network is you, right? Like, I take this burden of responsibility because I realize the fact that, like, I'm that guy, and I know that if I don't mind, then I do this exactly like thing. And most people are like, dude, you're an idiot. Why are you on there? Like, but it's because most of the people that are truly struggling aren't talking to anybody about it, and they're running into some sort of chemical dependency, whether it's alcohol or drugs or whatever. And guess what? One bad night and you become another statistic, and all you needed to do is reach out. So, Memorial Day weekend, horse videos, buying a bale of hay, loop it all together. I don't care. Reach out to somebody, talk about it. Buy a bale of hay, buy 4 bales of hay. That would be amazing. But there you go. Jason, I truly appreciate you doing this. I love how you're completely in on supporting this effort. It's important. I do want this to become one of the epicenters of the Southeast. We've got many hurdles to jump. If you have a large chunk of money and you're just really not